Everybody drop your buff. Don't poke the bear. Hello, welcome back everyone to the video series dedicated show on CBS that does X on the Beach better than MTV. That's right, we're talking about Survivor Season 40, Winners at War, Episode 5. And in this episode, a ton happens in the beginning, but not so much towards the end, but that was all because of strategic gameplay. But we'll get all into that, but let's start off where last episode left off, and that was Tyson getting blindsided and sent to EOE, and that's where we go to start off this episode at the Dakal tribe, except we're starting on a very emotional note, and that is Yul confiding in Wendell and Sarah about how coming into the Survivor game, he was worried about his connections and not having a ton of connections, and that he didn't know if he was going to like everybody, but he likes everyone. He says he genuinely likes everyone on his tribe, and they talk about how the only connection he really has stayed true to from his Survivor experience was Jonathan Penner from Cook Islands, and then they start talking about Jonathan's wife and the Penner family and how she has been battling ALS, and it was such an emotional note. It was so emotional to see Yul get emotional, and then we saw the flashbacks to Cook Islands with Yul and Jonathan, and then the family visitation portion, and it was really touching. And then we also, heading into the first commercial break, we saw Jonathan and his wife and where they're at now, and it was very emotional heading into the first commercial break. And then Survivor decides to sucker punch us by coming back from commercial and having the tribe swap. We knew it was coming, I just didn't know it was gonna happen that quickly and after such an emotional note. But we have a tribe swap, and we're going from 2 tribes to 3. We're getting a new Sele tribe, a new Dakal tribe, and we're getting a new tribe with the Yara tribe. So now let's break down these tribes. After everybody picks their new buff, the new Sele tribe is made up of Yul, Nick, and Wendell, and Parvati and Michelle. On the face surface, Dakal has fantastic numbers. They have the 3-2 number advantage. Also, they have an advantage as these 3 guys were a part of an alliance on the former Dakal tribe. And so they're super strong in their connections. Parvati, coming back to their campsite, was kind of being like, hey, let me try to get to know everybody and try to wiggle my way into possibly their alliance, or seeing if anybody is having any second thoughts on their alliance or being Dakal strong. She talks to Yul, she's getting reacquainted as they played on Cook Islands with one another. They were on different alliances, but realistically, we've seen on this season that people who were on different alliances in previous seasons, they can use that as an advantage and become a new alliance this season. You never know. Then Parvati is talking with Nick, and he confides that he used to have a high school crush on her, and that makes things a bit awkward between the two. Speaking of awkward, Michelle and Wendell used to date, albeit not for long, but it didn't end on good terms, as we can tell from the context clues from Michelle. Michelle has deemed Wendell kind of distant. Also, he thinks he's all that in a bag of chips, and he's broken her trust outside of the game, which could bleed into this game. We'll have to wait and see how that all settles down, but it's kind of an awkward vibe to their tribe. Now let's go on to the new Dakal tribe, which again has a more former Dakal tribe heavy numbers, as we have 3 Dakal members of Tony, Saundra, and Kim, with the former Sele members of Jeremy and Denise. Now, you might think on the surface, Sele has the numbers again. They're in a really good position. However, Kim has been on the bottom rung of the Dakal tribe since the beginning. The first vote out was between her and Amber, realistically. So, with that being said, Kim was talking to both Jeremy and Denise, and it looks like she's moving closer to their portion of the tribe rather than Saundra and Tony, where Saundra was more of a lone wolf, because she just does whatever the tribe wants to do and goes with the flow as long as it's not her. And Tony was mainly with Sarah, but Sarah's on a totally different tribe. Also, this new Dakal tribe is like Advantage City. There's 3 hidden immunity idols with Denise, Kim, and Sandra, and then you have Jeremy's safety without power advantage, and then Tony is just being Tony, but there's a ton of advantages happening on this new Dakal tribe. Now let's go to the new tribe with Yara, which is made up of 3 former Sele members of Rob, Adam, and Ben, and then we also have Sophie and Sarah from the old Dakal tribe. And you might think on paper, hey, there's 3 Sele members, they just gotta say true to blue. However, these are the 3 most volatile former Sele members to put on a single tribe, as nobody likes each other. Rob thinks Ben is a doof and he doesn't like Adam whatsoever. Adam definitely doesn't like Rob and used to work with Ben, but Ben doesn't like Adam because he thinks he's a double agent, and also Ben doesn't like Rob because he just asks some questions and Ben folds like a lawn chair, and that leaves Sarah and Sophie in a great position to gain numbers and gain the advantages. And speaking of advantages, they have enough advantages that they don't really need anybody to come over. Sarah has a steal a vote, so they automatically heading into a tribal. If they need to have a tribal, they can just steal somebody's vote and just vote out one of the guys and stay safe. Sophie, just looking around the island for an idol, finds the idol and gives the other half to Sarah, but Sarah gives her the half back towards the end of this episode, so Sophie has a full hidden immunity idol. They have enough advantages to make it past at least 1 or 2 tribal councils if need be, but they still want to not have to use them this early in the game. There's still 15 people. There's still a merge gonna happen. And also Edge of Extinction, which we don't see in this episode, is still a thing. And something is going to happen around that, but not to worry about that right now. Let's head into this week's immunity challenge, and this is a Survivor Classic obstacle course meets puzzle at the end, since we've been doing since the beginning of this season. And this obstacle course is going the up down boards. You have to go up a rope ladder, down a cargo net, grab sandbags, hit off blocks off of this arch, grab these bigger blocks, stack them up in a way that no 2 colors, none of the same colors, are touching each other. The first 2 tribes to finish this wins immunity, wins safety, doesn't go to tribal council, while the last place team will be going to tribal council and somebody will be voted out. Starting off this race, Sele and Yara get onto a main start, and Dakal is way back there, like way back there. They're just getting over the cargo net as Sele and Yara are already having their puzzle pieces and working on it. Yara gets there first, with Sophie and Adam working on the puzzle together, and then Sele gets there second with Parvati and Wendell working on the puzzle together. And coming up the rear is Dakal, and they get their puzzle pieces finally, and Jeremy and Sandra are working on the puzzle together. And Yara has this strategy of doing 1 puzzle piece at a time, 1 cube at a time, and they're already fighting over how this is going to work. They don't know. It looks like they're in a mass form of confusion, whereas Sele and Dakal have the same strategy of just stacking the blocks and then moving them in a way that they can just see what colors are touching each other. They're getting a more bigger picture of this puzzle than, say, Yara. And in the middle of this immunity challenge, Yara decides to start all over, which we've seen in this season alone, that if you start over on a puzzle, you're doomed, and that's exactly what happens. Sele gets first place, gets immunity and safety. Dakal, coming from behind, gets safety, gets immunity, and Yara is going to be sent to tribal council, but they go back to their campsite to talk to one another, strategize on who they want to vote out. And that's when the 3 guys head to the well on their own. They stand there, they pledge their allegiance that they will not vote out each other and that they will all vote to evict Sarah. They come back, and to make sure that this is a plan that is locked in, they're going to have a lockdown at camp. Nobody is leaving. This is Rob's buddy system, but nobody needs a buddy if nobody leaves the camp. And that's exactly what they do for hours. Sophie and Sarah are super frustrated at what has transpired, and to the confessional camera, Rob was saying that he needs to trust somebody on this tribe to make it further into the game. However, when you do a lockdown and kind of babysit and buddy system your tribe mates, that's not really putting trust in anybody. Putting trust is letting people do what they're gonna do and trust that they're going to keep to their word or keep to what you had agreed upon. Whereas babysitting is kind of more helicopter parenting. When they're heading off to tribal council or getting ready to head off to tribal council, you think, okay, maybe Rob has everybody underneath his thumb. Maybe this is the chance that Rob is going to finally take back the numbers and take back this game. However, when heading off to Tribal Council, that's when we see Ben like kind of motioning over to Sarah and Sophie, kind of being like, hey, Rob, saying like, hey, this is who we're voting out. But maybe this lockdown is gonna bite Rob in the butt, where in the fact of like, oh, maybe people are gonna be having the numbers on my side because we're doing my lockdown idea. Instead, it gives people too much time to think and be like, do I want this to be my Survivor experience? Do I want to have to be chained to campsites instead of being able to frolic on the beach or go get water or go get firewood or do something to pass the time instead of sitting around talking about cookies and jams? I have no idea. But we go to Tribal Council. Once Jeff hears what transpired at the campsite, he is baffled. He is legit baffled. He's like, you guys talked about desserts? You know this is a $2 million game and you're kind of just sitting at camp wasting the time until Tribal Council. Heading into the vote, everybody votes, comes back down. Sarah didn't use her steal a vote. Sophie didn't use her hidden immunity idol. And that's when Jeff reads the votes out, and it's one for Sarah, one for Rob, the next one for Rob, which is a telltale sign that Rob was going to be voted out, and that's exactly what happened. And he was sent out of there. In the previews for next episode, it looks like the Yara tribe is like celebrating that Rob isn't there, that the Godfather is not around to keep them at campsite. So you can deduce that it was a vote of 4-1. Rob is being sent to Edge of Extinction to go hang out with his wife and play poker with Tyson. But that's exactly where this episode ends. What did you think about this episode? Let me know that in the comment section below. Were you hoping that Rob was going to be voted out, or was you wishing that it was going to be somebody else? Let me know that in the comment section below. What did you think about the tribe swap? What do you think about the power dynamics? Let me know that in the comment section below. And who is your favorite Survivor competitor this season? And are they in a spot in their new tribe to make it further into the game, or are you worried about them? Let me know that in the comment section below. I want to hear what you have to say. But thank you so much for watching. While you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll be back really soon with another Survivor review and recap on Thursday. And join me for the rest of this week as I put out so much more challenge content. I have brief histories coming out, top 10s, top 5s, fantasy cast videos, and much more leading into the premiere of Total Madness coming on April 1st. But until then, peace.